explain that now,
Right.
but
What is
uh,
that?
Yeah.
the movement itself was something that uh, we're destined to be in certain places at certain times,
Right. Right.
and our group at that time
Express.
um, were heavily involved in the movement. It was a civil rights movement for uh, Chicano, Hispanic, Latino people communicate and to create a real bond with the audience who was already they themselves involved in this movement. So it was a little something very special, more than just a band playing music before an audience and partying. There was a real meaning.
Party.
Yeah,
And a lot of party.
there was a lot of partying, yes, and but there was a lot of meaning
Right.
also
No.
in what we did, and I think at that time, even on the national scene, I think for one of the very few times, we had groups like Azteca and El Chicano and Malo, all of these groups that had never been on the charts before, and now they were gaining attention, and they provided us with a real not only musical background from
Stepping
which
stone.
to draw from,
Mhm.
but attention as to Chicanos, Latinos, Hispanics to be in the forefront in the national scene. So
Right.
it was a very special time and a lot of very special people.
We've got listeners all around the world, and it's unfortunate they didn't get a chance to listen to you guys live and then and the way it was, and just the emotion that was going on around that time. You would just be in awe. And you guys don't have to say it, but I'll tell you, Denver, this group had the best vocals this town has ever seen, and I really mean that. And I love the live groups and everything, but that's where it all started, was with the vocals, and the rest was just history.
And a lot of good harmonies. The
Yeah,
harmonies,
great
the
vocals,
the
great
harmonies were there.
What I like to do right now, though, is play Soy Chicano Nada Más by Aguila, Denver, Colorado. Give it a listen, folks. Let's check it out right now. Right now.
If you can do it.
There we go. Soy Chicano Nada Más on Deep Cuts with Paul Chavez on KUHS Radio. Okay, we can talk.
Now, aren't you guys through that over at the Adams County Fairgrounds?
Man, that must hurt. You guys won the Battle of the Bands and then you got fired.
Yeah.
That must hurt.
Wow, that hurt big time. There ain't too many bands I wouldn't have fired out.
We never fired you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. See, Pat knows. Oh, did we? Hey, Donnie, if you guys can move this way so you can come this way so they can actually see you.
Yeah. They want to see you on
stream.
TV.
Yeah, if you want to see
Yeah,
on the
no,
video
that's
stream.
This is the guy. This is the guy. That bank. There he is. Anyway.
No, when I got in, they had a drummer named Mike Mascareñas, and he was their steady drummer. And I don't know how we got.
Steady.
Yeah, how did you guys find me? What was the deal there? I don't remember. I think Dave called me. Was it you, Dave?
It was Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert
Yeah.
Medina, I think.
Gilbert Medina.
Right.
Gilbert Medina.
Yes.
Okay. And I went down, and we didn't have any horns at that time, and we wanted to have horns, and so I called a couple friends, and we auditioned quite a few horn players, didn't we? Three
I
or
think it
four.
was, yes.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
There you
Didn't fit
go.
the bill.
And Art and Ace passed the mustard, and the rest is history.
That's
They were
awesome.
also they were from Denver. I gotta say this real quick before we go on. Dave and I were actually raised like less than a mile from each other on the west side of Denver.
Throw rocks
Yes,
at each other.
Denver.
Yeah.
Throw rocks at each other.
Yeah.
Old Cowboys.
And they probably were throwing rocks
Yeah.
at each other.
Snowballs at least.
Yeah.
And Anthony, or Ace, we call him, he was raised maybe 2 or 3 blocks from where I was. We kind of knew each other from our kid days, you know what I'm saying? So it just kind of meshed together. I gotta tell you, Aguila was a lot of brotherhood. I mean,
There
those
was.
guys were already brothers, and then it just so happened that the cats that we brought in just fit right in, and
Put it this way, we took you under our wing.
Yes.
the
Now, Pat,
Aguila we.
now, Pat,
Yes.
let's talk about the song,
Okay.
because the song really, it had meaning to it. It still has meaning to it. It's timeless. I consider it, because you know what's going on right now in all these protests and what was happening then with the struggles between whether it was the cops or the Chicanos or it was just the song just meant so much for so many people at the time and even now.
Well, you talk about history repeating itself.
Right.
And that's where it's at. You know what I mean? When you think of something and you wake up in the middle of the night.
Not only on radio, but you're also on television, just so you know. And in case you're wondering who these guys are, going back to the 70s and what we've got DC Gallegos, Donnie G, and Pat Gallegos of the group Aguila. Let's give them a nice round of applause. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now, gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Happy belated Thanksgiving. Why don't you get a little closer there, Pat? I've got a face for radio, man, but I didn't. Nobody
Gotta
told
get
me
way
we're
up there,
going to do
Russ.
television.
Oh,
but,
we're gonna do streaming live. It's good to have the Aguila group here in the
in the
in
studio.
the studio on www.kuhsdenver.com. You make sure and get right up on there and log in www.kuhsdenver.com.
It's
We're
amazing,
streaming
isn't it?
live, and it's
It's,
we're coming on.
one time, and so I'm like,
Oh, he co-hosted with you,
he
right?
co-hosted with me because I needed that Spanish end of the things. I'm not really fluent in Spanish. I was the English end of the bilingual Latin connection, and George says, "Hey, I'll do it with you." And George was an older fella.
Right.
He was older than us, and at that time, and I said, "Okay, George, let's do that." And we had the greatest time. Let me put it that way. And I taped that whole show, and I have those tapes still at home.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
sometime I'll put them.
See,
on
that's
CD
one
and
thing
turn
about
on to
you,
'em, but
DC.
George
You
Sandoval
saved
was
everything.
great.
And we apologize to our public out there. We accidentally hit our streamer, and we were streaming a little bit of music over everything that was being said. But we're okay. The producer kind of looked at me and says, "You've got to turn that off." So, but we apologize to you. But there was a little bit of stream of music over right.
A little bit of music
But
underneath.
don't
your
forget,
voice.
you got to hear everything.
They would just come out in droves. I mean, we had some great lowrider events.
Oh,
I'll tell you, it was a great
was great.
time, and we've really been blessed with our careers.
Paul, I remember there was a broadcaster. He used to work for KBNO, I believe.
George Sandoval.
Oh my goodness, that
He was
guy.
great.
He's the guy who actually opened the doors for a lot of broadcasters. We were even on a couple of TV
Yes, we
shows.
were.
Right.
Channel 6.
Yeah, Channel 6.
Channel 6.
Yeah. And but George, he was one heck of an MC.
Yes.
Oh, that guy, he could code switch, which means go back to Spanish to English in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
And the thing
Yeah,
is,
that
he was,
Marijuana, and he was smoking, and he was telling his drummer, and he says, "Hey, Michael, why are you so black?" And you're talking to a man that's blind.
Right.
You remember that? Anyway,
I
we
do
went,
remember.
and you just told me, just follow my lead, and I was just shaking in my boots. But after that, the rest was history. I think we got some award in the American or Mexican or Chicano. What was it?
It's the Colorado Hispanic Music Hall of Fame. And those are some great people.
They
We were
are.
very, very honored to be part
Very
of that.
much, yes.
And
Unfortunately,
really, I should say what the Latin Connection was about was, of course, you and we had a great time, and I think that came over the airwaves. But our playlist really was what people tuned in for. We
Definitely.
created a bilingual playlist that featured a lot of music that was not being played on the airwaves in the general public. Time. So just wanted to mention that.
There you go.
I love you, Henry.
Is there a clock in here? Okay, all right.
I'm going to talk to Henry about getting a Christian show.
Oh yeah,
Maybe we can do that. That'd be
Definitely.
great.
once again, too, Paul, big shout out to all of our fans, that, especially the fans in Brighton. Sometimes we would go to practice, and we wouldn't even practice. We'd go set up at the park
Wow.
and do a free cut. We would just take everything from the
Yep.
basement, set up the big PA, set up.
More research in this thing, but again, you guys really the reason was for me to have you guys here was, for Aguila, the song and the movement, and then what's happening right now. besides, I love you guys, man. It couldn't happen without you guys. For me, I must say, in the radio business, because it kind of switched back and forth, and fortunately or unfortunately, I'm still here. But
Stop it.
thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
So we're gonna move on, or you want to say goodbye to Aguila?